Hi, and welcome to the How to Stop Yelling at Your Kids class. I'm Sterling J, and I'm a Catholic life coach. And today, before we get started, I want to promise you I'm going to give you everything you need in this class to stop yelling at your kids. Okay, this isn't going to be one of those webinars where I tell you most of it and then I say you have to buy this thing in order to learn the rest of it. I'm going to tell you everything. If this is the last time you hang out with me, and you do the things that I say, you're going to experience the results that you want. Okay? At the end, I will tell you more about what I do, and I will invite you to check it out, but you don't need to. Everything you need to know is going to be in this class. All right, so a little bit about me, just so you know that it's a huge, huge deal that I'm even teaching this class. I have 6 kids who are 9 and under, and the last 3 are 3, 2, and 1. We call them Irish triplets because we had them a year apart, each of them. So that's a little crazy. And I'm a homeschooling mom and I run a business for my home. And I have been a life coach for 2 years. But as I was continuing to learn how to be a better life coach, I discovered this mindset tool, which absolutely changed everything for me. So I had been a life coach, and then halfway through, I discovered something that completely changed everything that I was doing for myself and for my clients. Okay? And that is to shift the thoughts that were in my mind. But let me tell you, since I discovered that, I've lost 55 pounds. I'm a happy mom. I'm a fun mom. I almost never yell at the kids anymore. And remember, I have 6 tiny ones, and I homeschool them in my house. That's a recipe for challenging situations. Okay, so I know that if I can do this, you can do this. All right, so I'm going to be really transparent with you about what my life was like before, how to use this tool, and what you can expect afterwards. All right, let's dive in. How to stop yelling at your kids. All right, first let's talk about why you're yelling, mamas. Okay, you're yelling because your kids are making bad choices. You're watching them and you're like, why are they doing that? They should know better. I taught you not to. I said that 18 times yesterday. Why are you still doing that? Right? So we're having these thoughts. They shouldn't be doing that. This is such a toxic thought, ladies. Okay? And then when we have this thought, they shouldn't be doing that, we immediately go to, and I must be a bad mom because if I was a good mom, they wouldn't be doing that. If I had taught them well enough, they wouldn't be doing that. Right? Maybe I'm not Catholic enough. Maybe I'm not praying enough. We come up with all sorts of reasons, but we feel like they shouldn't be doing that. Something's wrong. Must be my fault. Okay? Then, and we don't talk about this a lot, we think this sucks and it's going to suck for a very long time. Okay? My life is so painful. It's always going to be diapers and crying. I'm going to get pregnant forever. And then, by the way, I think in the beginning we might cling to like, oh, it'll be better when we don't have little kids. And then we make friends with people who have teenagers and that sounds even worse. And they tell you it's worse. And you're like, but I just convinced myself that I just had to make it through these little years and then it would be better. And now you're telling me that's worse? Like, what a horrible future. Right? So we're in our homes and we're like, my life sucks and I'm going to be stuck here for a long time. And some of you might be like, whoa, my life doesn't suck. I like it. I just want to stop yelling at the kids. Maybe. But I bet part of you, as you go through this and you have bad days, and a lot of them, part of you is like, why do I have this job when I'm not good at it? Why did God ask me to be a parent to this child or these kids when I'm kind of terrible at it? And we just sit in that place and it's so yucky. And so we're spending a great deal of time, and by the way, a tremendous amount of energy having these negative thoughts. And that's one of the reasons you're so exhausted. Okay? Once I did this work, I tripled the amount of time that I was working, right? So I used to work maybe 2 to 4 hours a week, and now I work at least 20. Still homeschooling the kids, right? And they're still young and they still cry a lot, and I have so much energy. And I rigorously go to bed at 9 p.m. I hit the pillow. I go to sleep, right? I've struggled with insomnia my whole life. I haven't been lately, I go to sleep, wake up at 5:30, crush my day. So much energy. Okay, now for those of you that have one child and you're like, I don't even know, how does she do that? She must be a unicorn. I want you to know that when you have one child, in my opinion, it's the hardest. I remember when I only had one child, I was like, oh, I'm actually kind of terrible at this. I'm a terrible homemaker. My husband would come home and I'd be like, oh, we just had the hardest day and I couldn't make dinner. And now I kind of laugh like, oh, that was so cute that you thought it was hard when you had one and you couldn't make dinner. But it is hard. So I'm not taking that away from you. There are challenges and it's new and you're stuck in a job that didn't come with a manual and nobody's giving you feedback about it except for what you perceive are just failures all day long. Well, I blew that. Okay, so it doesn't matter how many kids you have, how much money you have, how much you weigh, how much you pray. None of those things matter. You can learn how to stop yelling at your kids and to feel like a good mom right now. I promise you. Okay, let's go. We're going to change your mindset. Here's what I learned. This is the big tool, okay? I call it the Mama Thought Tool. There's lots of names for it, but in Mama Tools, we call it the Mama Thought Tool. Your thoughts control your feelings, which control your actions, which control your results. Create is even a better word. Your thoughts create your feelings, which create your actions, which create your results. Here's how it plays out with the kids. We're just going to use my 3-year-old as an example because he's in a hitting his brother phase right now. 3-year-old hits his brother. Old me would have had this thought, oh my gosh, he knows better. Mostly because I just told him 5 minutes ago and 18 times yesterday and for the 3 weeks before that. Okay? I feel disrespected, like he's choosing not to listen to me, or I feel like a bad mom in that I didn't really teach him. Okay? Here's the big thing that I want you to understand. Your feelings of yuckiness then drive you to do something. No one taught us how to feel our feelings. You didn't get a class in high school that said, here's how we deal with yucky feelings. Here's how you should use your brain to have positive thoughts. Now, positive affirmations, we'll talk about the difference in that later. Okay? But we're having these yucky feelings. I'm a bad mom. He doesn't respect me, whatever it is. And from those feelings, we yell. Stop doing that. I just told you. Knock it off. It's not the hitting that made us so angry. It's the feeling of failure, of being disrespected, not being a good mom. It's that feeling that then drives the yelling. Then we buffer, okay? Buffering, just think of it as like an inner tube that fits on top of you, right? Like buffering is, I'm going to use this stuff so that I don't feel my feelings, okay? A lot of you buffer with Facebook scrolling, Instagram scrolling. Like, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm a bad mom, so I'm going to distract myself online. Some of you buffer with television, with ice cream, with wine, right? When we get to the place where we're overeating and we're over drinking, it's usually because we don't want to feel those bad feelings. We're trying to put some space in between those yucky feelings that we don't want to feel. Some of you buffer with things that look good on the outside, like research. Like, oh, okay, I know he's got a food sensitivity or a learning thing. I'm just going to deep dive on the internet and ask all the questions and read all the books. So you can do things that are good behaviors, like researching is a good thing. But if you're doing it from a place of thinking you're a bad mom, it's not going to be very effective. And I always know when I'm buffering because there's kind of a tense kind of panicky energy to it. And I think, oh, I should be doing something else. So when you're ignoring your kids and you're researching online and you're like, I'm doing this for you, right? You're probably buffering because you're not really willing to sit with your yucky feelings of like, maybe my child has a learning disability. Or maybe I'm really a bad mom. You're thinking that, but you're not willing to like sit with that thought and think about it and chew on it and like explore, is that true or not? So, buffering, then we beat ourselves up. Ugh, I can't believe I yelled at them. Ugh, I can't believe I wasted so much time on my phone. How was that an hour? Right? So we beat ourselves up And now our result is we're disconnected from the kids because yelling at them always creates disconnection. And we double down on this idea that we're bad moms. Okay? You see how this works? This is exhausting, yucky, and hopeless. When you live in this place, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to feel yucky, and you're going to be hopeless. Now I want you to consider changing this thought right here. So the circumstance is the same. He hit his brother. It's a neutral thing. Hit his brother. It's not good or bad. He just did it. Okay? What if we had this new thought? That's exactly what 3-year-olds do. He is such a 3-year-old. As soon as we have this thought that he's doing exactly what he should be doing developmentally for his stage, and so you can apply this to any age that your kids are because they're in a developmental stage. When your 21-year-old daughter moves in with her boyfriend and you want to feel super upset about that, I want you to back up and say, that's what 21-year-olds do. It may not be what you want for her, and you can have all sorts of drama about that, but developmentally, 21-year-olds go out into the world and they try personalities on. And they go, what does this life look like? That is exactly what they should be doing. You don't want them to end up being Catholic under duress. Right? I went out. I was not raised Catholic. I did all the things until I went, hey, guess what? All the things, it's not very satisfying. That's not the life that I want. Now I'm Catholic to my bones. Deep in my soul, no one could take that from me. I know we don't want our children to experience pain, but actually we really just want them to get to heaven. And whatever God has planned for my children, whatever gauntlet they have to run to end up with the fierce, unshakable faith that I have, I want them to run it. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. That's what 3-year-olds do. That's what 17-year-olds do. That's what 9-year-olds do to test their independence. Okay? And from that place, it's not excusable, especially when they're still in our house. We don't go, cool, just work it out. You're just in your life, Jim. I'm rooting for you. No, our job as parents is to guide them. We have to have firm, clear boundaries and firm consequences. Okay? So in my house, when you roll your eyes at one of the parents, it's 10 burpees. For those of you who don't know what burpees are, it's like a jumping jack and then a push-up, right? So if they do that, go, oh, it's not okay for you to roll your eyes. You need to do 10 burpees. Okay? If he hit his brother, his consequence would be to go stand by the door. Oh, we don't hit people in this family. Please go stand by the door. When we have the thought, this is what he should be doing, we come from a place of clarity. We feel focused. We feel confident. Okay? Even if I don't know, let's say it's something new. We've never dealt with it before. I know I'm a good mom, and I'll figure it out. I know how to parent my children, or I'll go figure it out. So when new things come up, I just go, oh, that's new. Got to go figure that out. I don't think I'm a bad person. I don't think I'm a bad mom. But it's all because it starts here first with the kids. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Nothing's wrong. Absolutely nothing is wrong. I really got challenged on this last week. A mom was listening to some really, really painful things. And she was like, how is that okay? I'm like, because they're doing it. You can argue with reality, but you're going to lose 100% of the time. If that's what they're doing, God has them in a place of learning something. And who are you to tell God that it's wrong? You may hate it. It may be painful. You may not want that for them. But it's what's happening. So instead, just think, they're running the gauntlet right now for their faith. That's true of older kids. For younger kids, I really stick with, this is developmentally appropriate, right? 3-year-olds hit their brother. 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds test out lying, right? It's around that age that they're like, can I lie and get away with it? It's totally developmentally appropriate. And then it circles around again a couple years later. Nothing is wrong. That is what they're supposed to be doing. And we are supposed to show up and guide them as parents with very clear boundaries and consistent consequences. But from that place, I parent with confidence, I'm calm, and I create connection with the children. They may still be frustrated, but they respect me because they know the truth of where I'm coming from. And then I'm doing it for them because I love them and because God has asked me to parent them. I don't have this bad mom thing. And then also, when I notice the kids are pushing boundaries and stretching things, I usually go, and they need some quality time. Now, if I had the thought I should have quality time with my kids every single day, I would crumple under that pressure. I try to have quality time with my kids for 15 to 20 minutes a week. Each one time a week. 15 minutes. Not a 2-hour date out of the house. Okay? I do that to create connection with them, and it fills up their love cup. It doesn't need to be more than that. And so we have less problems. But I'm a good mom, and that's what good moms do. Good moms have consistent and clear expectations of the kids, and they spend some amount of quality time with them. Not a ton, but some. Okay? So we're going to change this thought that the kids know better. And we're also going to change the thought, I'm a bad mom. All right? Let's talk about that. Okay? I want you to choose some new thoughts. Here's what I love to do with my one-on-one clients. Okay? And I also do this, by the way, in the live coaching that I do on my podcast, the Mama Tools podcast. So if you want to hear me do coaching, you can go there, just click on any one of the live coaching episodes and hear what I say. So I'll bring a mom in. She tells me, oh, it's horrible. Homeschooling's awful. I cry all the time. The kids cry all the time. Whatever it is, right? There's always a problem. Then I say, well, tell me a little bit about what you did before you were mom. And they always have something to say. And sometimes it's super impressive, like, I have a master's in biology, or I was a collegiate runner. Sometimes it's quiet, like, I really went to mass a lot before I had kids, and I really read a lot of books. There is always something I can find in every single mama where she had confidence before she had kids, right? So I want you to ask yourself, where is your confidence? What is something where you're like, yeah, I did that. I feel confident about that. Nobody could take that away from you. Right? I loved working. I sold high-end websites. I was a really good dog trainer. I wore a lot of hats, so I have a very kind of odd mash of jobs and careers. I wrote business plans for people, right? And I was really good at a lot of things. It didn't mean I didn't have a ton of self-esteem issues, okay? But I can find things that I feel I rocked before I was mom. Okay, so I just did a live coaching with a client, and after she got married, she went to Spain for 3 years. Love it. And she said it very casually, like it wasn't a big deal. And I was like, that's a huge deal. Like, most of us haven't done that. I would have no idea how to do that. And so I said, what were you thinking when you guys decided that you were going to do that? Her husband got a job offer. And she said, well, let's just see how it goes. I love that thought. Because here's the thing. We want to pretend that motherhood is different than those other things. But whatever the other thing was, you didn't know how to do it when you decided to try. Right? She didn't know how to get a visa, how to rent an apartment, how to have a baby in Europe. She didn't know any of that. Right? We don't need to know. We just have to have a thought that makes us courageous enough to go do it. And her thought was, let's see how it goes. And this particular mom was talking about homeschooling her oldest while she had 2 little kids. And I said, what if you had the same attitude about homeschooling? Because we think homeschooling has to fit in this box, and we have to have these worksheets, and we have to meet the state guidelines and whatever it is. But that's just a story. What if you went into it saying, let's just see how it goes? That energy is so curious and playful and fun. And from that place, you're going to be a problem solver. You're going to wake up and you're going to say, all right, let's see how school goes today. And you may get into it, and your 3-year-old may knock over some water all over the math workbook, and then the baby poops out of his diaper, and you're like, this was not the way I thought today was going to go. Instead, because you started with, let's just see how it goes today, you can find the flexibility to go, great, let's set the math book aside. Let's play a board game instead. I'm going to clean up the baby. Maybe we'll all go for a walk and we'll find a bunch of fall leaves that look different. I love that activity. It takes like 45 minutes. Kids love it every time. Let's just be a family that's happy and peaceful. Who cares about the math book today? I had another client was a marathon runner. So she never had been. And then she was just walking and feeling single and looking for her husband and like, what am I supposed to do in the meantime? And stumbled on this table that said, do you want to sign up for a marathon? So she was going to do a half marathon. Then she decided to do the whole one because the guy was like, you can do it. We have great programs. Trust me, you can do it. And so she thought, what if it's possible to run a whole marathon? She kind of sold herself on half, but she was like, what if it's possible to run the whole thing? And I love that because, and I've stolen that so many times since she said that, that's like one of my favorite thoughts now. What if it's possible to do it? And from that place, because she had never done anything like that, she found the right shoes, she needed a physical therapist for something, she found this accountability running group that she would run with, you know, and she did it. What if it's possible to love being a mom? Now, some of you will go straight to your head and you'll go, well, I love it. I mean, I love those kids and, you know, God asked me to do it and it's my primary vocation and that's all up here. We know you don't believe it because you're yelling at the kids and you're unhappy. So bring it back down. It's okay to say the ugly thoughts. We're going to talk about that in the thought download. What if it's possible to be a fun mom today? What if it's possible to feel really confident about homeschooling? From this place, you're going to find solutions to anything that pops up. This is the one that I like a lot for myself. I'm a really good problem solver. I have evidence of that before I became a mom. I was so good at solving problems, right? And then for the 9 years that I didn't have this, I felt like a bad mom. Like, why can I build websites and grow businesses and not stop yelling at my kids or feel like I'm good at this, even though I've been doing it for 9 years? That's a funny thing about having a large family. People just assume you're really good at it. I'm like, no, not if you never learn how to be good at it. And again, it's not that we learn how to be good at it. It's that we change the thoughts we have about what we're doing. So now I just think I'm a great mom because I'm a problem solver. If I don't know what it is, I'm going to go find the solution. Okay? These thoughts take so much less energy than when we have the bad ones and we're constantly resisting them. I'm a bad mom. No, I'm not. It's fine. It's going to be fine. I'm in a yucky marriage. No, I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. We're going to be fine. We have no money. Oh, okay. I'm just going to forget that and I'm going to eat a bunch of cookies or watch 4 episodes of something. That drains your energy. Sitting with negative feelings and asking yourself, what was I thinking right before that feeling came up? And then digging up the negative thoughts that we saw before and replacing them with better thoughts is how we move forward. So let me explain 2 things. 1, where do you think these thoughts come from? Yeah, the devil. The devil knows how powerful you are and what amazing things you would do if you were a very confident Catholic mom. Not only would that echo within your own family and your community right now, but then you would raise confident Catholic moms or husbands or sons, and they would do that for their families, right? You are extremely powerful. And that is why the devil has like assigned you a little demon to tell you how awful you are all the time. Right? And we're totally falling for it. He's like, hey, you're a bad mom. And you look around and you're like, yeah, I am. I couldn't even clean the house today. That's my only job. And it looks like a disaster every time my husband comes home. I'm kind of awful. I'm such a mess. The devil is doing that to you, and our twisted culture is doing that to you, and our culture is twisted because of the devil, right? So it's all that. But I want you to release yourself from taking too much responsibility for ending up in this place, because the devil has been doing this to moms for 2,000 plus years. He's really, really good at it. And so it's not your fault that you kind of fell for that, right? We all have. We've all been, taking those thoughts and wiring them into our brain. And the work we're going to do is we're going to go find them. We're going to pull them out like weeds. We're going to be like, get those weeds out of there. I want none of that anymore. Okay? So that's one thing I want you to know. Like, the toxic thoughts that you have, they came from the devil. They came from our culture. It's not your fault. But now that you know, it's your responsibility to go find them and take them out. The second thing I wanted to mention is that these are not positive affirmations, okay? You're not going to wake up tomorrow and look in the mirror and say, I'm a good mom, and then believe it, okay? That doesn't work at all, okay? What works is finding a new thought that you believe. You have to actually believe it, and that's why we're going to think of some time in your past when you did feel adventurous or curious or driven or determined. And you're going to ask yourself, what was I thinking when I felt like that? And that's the new thought that you're going to choose. Notice none of these were, I'm a great mom. That is hard to jump to. We're going to get there with ladder thoughts. Okay? So the idea about ladder thoughts is that we start somewhere that's more neutral. Anything that's not, I'm a bad mom. You could choose, I'm learning to be a good mom. I'm not a good mom yet. Even adding the yet feels more hopeful. Like there's possibility. You could choose one of these. Let's just see how it goes. What if it's possible to be a really good and fun mom? And from this place, eventually you'll get to where I am, where I feel pretty stinking confident that I'm a great mom. Like great. And I will tell you how. All right, if you wanted to come ask me, I'll be like, let me tell you what I'm doing in my life that makes me feel like I'm crushing motherhood. And it doesn't mean my life is easy, right? This morning, before I was filming this video, I was changing my 1-year-old. My 3-year-old was naked, would not put his clothes on. My 2-year-old was playing with the sound machine. My 3-year-old, who's like the police officer in the family, doesn't like that. He knows we shouldn't touch the sound machine. So he starts yelling at the 2-year-old, who then throws the sound machine at the 3-year-old. Then both of them are crying. And then my 1-year-old, who's a sympathy crier, starts crying. So it's 7:18 in the morning, and I'm standing in a room with 3 crying boys. Previously, that would have shot my blood pressure through the roof. I would have yelled at everybody and just been upset and overwhelmed. And I would have been like, today is already awful. And oh, by the way, my life is awful, and it's going to be awful until I'm like 55, if I ever stop getting pregnant. Whew, that is a rough way to start your day. But now, I don't start my day like that. I was like, oh, this is what having 3 under 3 looks like. This is what they do. It's totally normal, right? I let them calm down. I told the 3-year-old he couldn't eat breakfast until he got his clothes on. He could take care of it himself. I gave something to the 2-year-old to take out into the living room. Distraction is an incredibly huge tool for parenting. Deflection, really. Like, let's just deflect this thing and get you interested in that thing. So the 2-year-old went off. The 3-year-old calmed down. I took the 1-year-old out. And the 3-year-old took a while to put his clothes on, but I didn't care because the rule was clear. Like, you're just not going to eat your breakfast until you put your clothes on. And I was calm, and I was confident that that all was going to work. And, by the way, if something totally crazy had happened and it didn't work, I'd be like, oh, that's new. Got to figure out how to deal with that. Okay? It is really possible to be a good mom and to feel really great about yourself. I want to give you that hope. And I didn't do this over months. Like that change for me was pretty fast. Okay? All right, so ladder thoughts, right? We're not going to jump to, I'm a great mom. We're going to pick some things in between, and we're just going to keep upping the confidence of that thought until you get to, I'm a great mom. So one of the exercises I'm going to have you do is to do a thought download. A thought download is when you just like bleh, all the thoughts that are going on in your mind about you as a mom. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to start doing it. Then you're going to have some really ugly thoughts, and you're going to go back into your head and you're going to go, well, no, I don't really think that. That's horrible. I wouldn't write that down. Write it down. I want you to write down, I hate my life. I don't like little kids. I don't want to listen to crying every day for the next 5 years. Those thoughts are in there, whatever they are, your ugly thoughts, and they are driving your results. I guarantee it. We have to find them. So don't pretty it up. Nobody's going to look at your paper. You can burn it when you're done. Okay? But you need to go find them. You need to go find the things that you are just like swirling around in there. And they're weeds. We're going to pull them out. And it's not your fault. Of course you're feeling that way. We have grown up in a culture that is perfectly designed to make us hate ourselves, even when we're doing a great job. It's crazy. All right, so you're going to do a thought download. You're going to write down all the ugly thoughts. Then we're going to choose new thoughts. You can just choose one, right? I like to choose the one about the kids, like this is fine, this is exactly what they should be doing for their stage. And then I like to choose one about myself, like I'm a great problem solver, what if it was possible to feel like a great mom, whatever your thought is going to be, okay? Then you're going to practice. And tomorrow, stuff's going to happen, and you're going to try to hold on to that thought, and it's going to slip away, and that's okay. Then, at the end of the day, or I do it in the morning before everybody wakes up, I analyze my mistakes. They're not mistakes. Nothing's wrong. We're just learning and growing. If you were shooting a movie and you shot a scene and someone screwed up, you just cut the tape and you do it again. And that's what motherhood is like. And eventually we're going to end up with this really beautiful movie of our life where we just really see the broad strokes. Whatever you did yesterday doesn't matter. But I want you to analyze it, like, what was happening? And that just happened to me 2 days ago. And by the way, it's just utterly incredible that I can say, oh yeah, 2 days ago I yelled at the kids and I hadn't done that in so long. But I was feeling a little bit stressed about something, which I shouldn't have been stressing about, but I wasn't managing my mind around it. And, my 11-year-old, no, she's 9, my 9-year-old was acting like I used to act when I was 11, and it was just really ugly behavior, and it triggered some childhood stuff in me. And so I basically was like, why are you doing that? Stop doing that, right? Which is like the wrong thing to say. That never works, asking them that. They're never going to be like, well, now that you mentioned that, Mom, the reason why I was acting out was because blah, 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 blah. Like, it doesn't work, okay? So it wasn't even that I yelled at her. I just wasn't parenting her well, and I noticed that. But so I noticed I hadn't spent any time with her in a while because I analyzed the situation. So she was probably feeling kind of pushed aside and unloved. I had just done something special for her sister, so that always creates stuff between the other sisters, especially if I don't articulate to them, like, here's the thing I have planned for each one of you. If I just do one of them and they see it, they kind of feel this lack. So I didn't communicate one-on-one time with each of them. I was a little bit stressed. She was feeling unloved. She was tired because we just tried putting my 3-year-old boy in with the girls. After 3 nights, we decided that did not work out. But anyway, she had been tired. And so I just analyzed it like, oh, that's exactly how we got there. But then from that place of just being curious and looking at it and noticing, I thought, great, I can fix all of those things. We took the 3-year-old out of their room. I can communicate when I'm spending quality time with her, and she needs that. I can say, you can't speak to your parents like that. Go calm down in your room until you're ready to speak with a respectful tone. And it's all just fine. And that is how you end up loving your life, ladies. I feel like I took happy pills. And that doesn't mean I'm happy all the time. One of the things that I teach my clients is that we have to learn how to feel bad feelings. We're always going to have bad feelings, right? Jesus calls us to suffering. We can, offer that up and create redemptive suffering out of that. Our Catholic faith is so cool, and it accommodates for everything. We're not supposed to be happy all the time, and you wouldn't want to be. You want to be sad when something sad happens. And our feelings, they are like a compass for us to pay attention to what's going on. But when our feelings and our thoughts are running wild and they're unchecked, that's when we can create some problems. So it's not that I don't experience negative feelings. I just now go, oh, I was feeling really jealous there right now. Where did that come from? What is it that I saw that I felt like I wanted that I don't have? And why do I feel like I should have that? And it just makes me curious now to explore the negative feelings. And sometimes there isn't an answer for them. It's just like, yeah, that yucky thing happened and it is yucky and I feel yucky about it. You don't have to talk yourself out of bad feelings. It's only when I'm feeling something bad because I'm thinking something that's just not true. So if you are like, I'm a bad mom, I'm stuck in this life, and you feel hopeless, and you check into hopelessness, and you realize it's because you think you're never going to like your life again, that's when you get to work and you're like, well, clearly that's a lie from the devil. So let's explore that a little bit. How can I love my life more right now? I don't want to have to wait till I'm in my 50s. I don't want to wait until my youngest is out of diapers. I don't want to wait until my husband graduates school and gets a better job, right? I want to love my life right now. And I really do, you guys. I love my life. I love my business. I love my clients. I love my kids. I love what we're homeschooling. We're just having the best homeschooling year ever. Okay, but it's because I'm managing my mind. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, you're going to download the worksheets. So that's the thought download worksheet and then the mind shift worksheet where you're going to put in one of your negative thoughts and you're going to try to think of a different thought that serves you instead. Okay? And then you're just going to practice. You're going to practice and you're going to analyze your mistakes. All right? That's it. You can have tremendous progress just doing that. You don't need to learn anything else. All right, so that is the class on how to stop yelling at your kids. If this blew your mind and you're like, I want some more of that, come join the Mama Tools community. So I built a social network just for moms, right? I'm not on Facebook. I said goodbye to that garbage, and I created a social network just for Catholic moms, okay? It's $10 a month, but what you get in there is a whole 30-day course on loving being a mom. So this is part of it, but we also cover why we've stopped dreaming. Like, we hate goal setting as moms because we feel like we have no control over anything, and our hopes and dreams have been squashed so many times that we've just kind of turned that off. But I really want to turn that back on for moms, right? I want them to learn how to dream again and not to feel like the good days are 15 years out. So if you join Mama Tools for $10, I think it's worth it just for that course, and you could just do that course and then cancel. But here's what happens. You get in and you're like, actually, it's kind of the nicest place on the internet. It is so fun to be part of that group. People support each other like I have never seen anywhere else. People are more vulnerable and they support each other, and it is amazing. And of course, I built it, so I was hoping that would be true, but I have no control over what they say, and they just have shown up exactly how I wanted them to. And it is just such a wonderful place to be and to do the work of motherhood together, which is really my mission for all of the work that I do. So, you don't need anything. You don't need to do that. You can just do what I taught you. But if you want to do more mindset stuff and you want to hang out with moms who are committed to being better moms and aren't willing to settle for the status quo of the hot mess mom culture, come join me at mamatools.com. Join the community. All right, ladies, thank you for being in this class. If you join that community, you can ask me any questions that you want. There's lots of ways to find me, and I will help you in your journey to being a better mom. All right, ladies, have a blessed day.